The rich pageantry of humanity descended on St. Peter's today to bask in the vibe and capture the afterglow of history. The pundits, the Filipino monks starring in his own channel, the endless parade of pilgrims, the paper. This one's a keeper. Obviously things are a little bit quieter here today in St. Peter's Square, and there's a real palpable sense of relief that it only took the conclave a day and a half to find a new pope. And the local paper, the Vatican Daily, the Osservatore Romano, the Roman Observer, is perhaps the only paper today with a headline in Latin. Habemus papam, it says. We have a pope, Robertum Franciscum Prevost, qui sibi nomen imposuit, and I'll say this bit in English, Leo XIV. There he is. Born in Chicago, but served most of his life in Peru, in Latin America. And actually, although this is a very polite paper, it does make that point. A pope that was born in the north of America, but served very much on the front line of the church amongst its poor and marginalized in Peru, in South America. And both the north and the south acclaiming him. That should be interesting. We bumped into these three cardinals this morning, seemingly delighted by their choice. Excelente. Excelente. But still largely non-verbal. Is he Peruvian or American, I asked. Both, this one said. This is where they were heading, the new Pope's first Mass in the same Sistine Chapel where the conclave had taken place. If yesterday was about secrecy, today was all about the public theatre of an institution that relies on mystique and mystery like every monarchy. And for the linguistically anxious in the US, Pope Leo started in his native tongue.
I'll begin with a word in English, and the rest is in Italian.
What followed was an appeal, or was it a challenge for unity to the princes of the church?
You have called me to carry that cross and to be blessed with that mission. And I know I can rely on each and every one of you to walk with me as we continue as a church.
Leo may not be as down to earth as his predecessor, but he does have a sense of humor. Back in a kitchen in the suburbs of Chicago, the Pope's brother, a retired head teacher, gave some fraternal insight.
I called my niece to let her know there was white smoke coming out, and we watched them together, and then we saw the curtains move, and then we saw the cardinal come out and announce who the Pope was. She started screaming because it was her uncle, and I was in the moment of disbelief that this cannot be possible. We still talk every day. He'll call when he's through with work. He's not going to be real far left, and he's not going to be real far right. Kind of right down the middle.
But down the middle is tricky, especially in tribal America. Case in point, yesterday's reaction.
I don't know how you claim that this is an American Pope if you won't even speak in his native tongue. That to me was very disturbing.
On social media, MAGA disciples have called Leo the anti-Trump Pope, and worse. But in the shadow of the Vatican, we came across a different American view. Surprised?
Stunned.
Stunned?
Well,
Why stunned?
If he weren't an American, he would have been the leading candidate. But I thought the fact that he was an American would have counted against him. But
why would that have counted against him?
Well,
just spell it out for us.
I think because people think America has enough power, being a political power and an economic power, and so why give them ecclesial power as well? Yeah. But I think he was seen, as many of the Italians said, the least American of the Americans because of his experience in Peru. Yeah. And a friend of mine from Peru just hugged me and said, we have a Peruvian Pope.
Is he going to speak truth to power, especially Trump power?
All popes speak truth to power, and they preach the gospel in season and out, and if it has a political message, so be it.
When it comes to gay rights and the ordination of women, Leo remains a social conservative. On so many other issues, he is a progressive. You can take the Pope out of Peru, but you can't take Peru out of the Pope, as this tourist from Lima told me.
Pues nos identificamos muy identificados, emocionados y contentos.
Sí, claro, hombre. We identify with him so much, and we are so very happy. Robert Francis Prevost, now Pope Leo XIV, is 69 years old and in good health. He may reign with humility, but also with absolute power. He will define an era for the Church and perhaps beyond.